Okay?
Okay.
I will read the question and then you read your answer, okay?
Okay.
What country would you like to visit that you have never been to?
The country I like to visit is France. I want to go there because it has many romantic places and it also has the Eiffel Tower. I really want to visit there once in my life.
I do too. Which country or place have you been to that you would never visit again?
Well, every country where I have visited has their own beauty, landscape, or culture I love. So I just want to visit them summertimes.
Good, very good. I'm glad you find things so interesting. That's good. Is there any country you have visited more than once?
There isn't any country I have visited more than once because I'm very busy with my work, so I don't have much time to visit some countries again.
Okay, you wouldn't say I don't have many time. You don't have much time, okay? Use the word much. And the last two questions, you had one very long sentence, so I made it into two sentences, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What do you like to do when you go to a foreign country?
I like to try its food, visit famous places, or discover the pop culture or the people. This
Clothes,
is
clothes.
culture or the people. This is in order to enrich my knowledge of the world around me.
Very good. Do you like traveling better by car, bus, or plane?
I think I like traveling by plane because it is the fastest transportation to travel. I also enjoy watching the landscape below from the window of the plane.
Okay, if you use the word fastest, you don't have to also use the word most, okay?
Okay.
Fastest means the most fast, okay? Do you like to go to the beach?
Yes, I really like to go to the beach where I can swim in cool water. I can also have fun with my family and enjoy different kinds of delicious seafood.
Yes, very good. When I went to Alaska, there's many different kind of fish in Alaska. And 5 years ago, I went to Alaska and we had many different kinds of seafood. It was delicious. If so, what is your favorite beach and what do you like to do there?
My favorite beach is near Jane because the sea there is very clean. I only can visit near Jane once a year. I have to swim as much as possible to stay healthy and to enjoy myself when I am there.
Very, very good. Okay. Are you going to go to the beach this year when school is over?
Well, I think I can go if the COVID-19 has done.
Is done. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Now let's go over your questions from the book. Okay. When you have those, I'll do the same thing. Chapter 15, and I will read the question and you read your answer.
Okay.
What was in the basket that helped fool the Germans into thinking it was Uncle Henrik's lunch?
In the baskets there was bread, cheese, and a napkin.
Yes. Why did Anne Marie behave like Kirsty when she was stopped by the German soldiers?
Emily behaved like Kirsty when she was stopped by the Sherman soldiers so they would believe she was a silly little girl.
Why was it good that Anne Marie did not know what was in the packet?
It was good that Emery doesn't know what was in the packet because she can act naturally.
Good. Why do you think the German soldiers stopped Anne-Marie?
I think German soldiers stop Emery because they want to bully her and ask something about her.
Right. And the only thing there, you spelled soldiers wrong, okay? So I corrected that. Why do you think the contents of the packet were so important?
I think the contents of pockets were so important because they might have had something to do with Rosens and the Orishos people.
Yes, very good. And chapter 16, I will tell you just a little. What did Anne-Marie learn about Peter from Uncle Henrik? What were the 2 clues that should have clued Anne-Marie in about Peter?
Emery learned that Peters was a part of underground resistance. The 2 clues that should have clued Emery in about Peter that Peter would have smuggled juice into Sweden and he brought copy of the Free Dance newspaper.
Right, those are the 2 things. What was Uncle Henrik's explanation for each of the following? Anne-Marie not seeing the Rosens in the boat, the use of the drug on the baby, and the handkerchief.
About Emery not seeing the roses in the boat, Uncle Henry has explained like I have only to leave the boards in the right place and there is room to hide a few people. For the use of a drug on the baby, he said the babies were drugged so that it wouldn't wake and crack.
Good.
And about a handkerchief, he said that a special drug was in the handkerchief which attracted the dog by turning their sense of smell so that they couldn't smell the people on the boats.
Good. What would have happened if Anne-Marie had not gotten the handkerchief to Uncle Henrik?
The German soldiers would have taken the roses and the oranges who were trying to escape.
Right. What do you think life will be like in Sweden for the Rosens?
I think the roses life in Sweden is better than life in Denmark because the Nazis will not invite for political reasons.
Very, very good. Okay. Now let's read the last chapter.
Okay.
Chapter 17. All this long time.
Okay, I see. All this long time, the world would end. Uncle Henry has said that, and it was true. They were ended almost 2 long years later. Emery was 12. Short bells rang all over Copenhagen early that May evening. The Danish flag was raised everywhere. People stood in the street and waved as they sang national anthem of Denmark. Emery stood on the balcony of the apartment with her parents and sister and watched it. Up another street and across on the other side, she could see flags and banners in almost every window. She knew that many of those apartments were empty. For nearly 2 years now, neighbors had tended the plants and dusted the furniture and polished the candlestick for the Jews who had fled. Her mother had done so for the roses. It is what friends do, Mama had said. Now neighbors had entered each
Unoccupied.
unoccupied waiting apartment, opened a window and hung a symbol of freedom there. This evening, Mrs. Johansson's face was wet with tears. Christy, waving a small flag, sang. Her blue eyes were bright. Even Kirsty was growing up. No longer was she a lieutenant, just a box of a child. Now she was taller, more serious, and very thin. She looked like the pictures of Liz at 7 in the old album. Peter Nelson was dead. It was a painful fact to recall on this day when there was so much joy in Denmark. But Emily forced herself to think of her red-head almost father and how devastating the day was when they
Devastating. Devastating.
devastating the day was when they received the news that Peter had been captured and escaped by the Germans in the public square at Rivingen in Copenhagen. He had written a letter to them from prison the night before he was shot. It had said simply that he loved them, that he was not afraid, and that he was proud to have done what he could for his country and for the sake of all free people. He had asked in the letter to be buried beside Liz. But even that was not to be for Peter. The Nazis refused to return the bodies of the young men they shot at Revengant. They simply buried them there where they were killed and marked the graves only with numbers. Later, Emery had gone to the place with her parents and they had laid flowers there on the black, numbered ground. That night, Emery's parents told her truth about Lee's death at the beginning of the war. She was part of resistance too, Papa had explained, part of the group that fought for our country in whatever ways they could. We didn't know, Mama added. She didn't tell us. People told us after she died. Oh, Papa, Emily cried. Mama, they didn't shoot. Liz, did they? The way they did Peter in the public square with people watching. She wanted to know it all, but wasn't certain that she could bear the knowledge. But Papa shook his head. She was with Peter and others in a cellar where they held secret meetings to make plans. Somehow the natives found out and they raided the place that evening. They all ran different ways trying to escape. Some of them were shot, Mama told her Sally. Peter was shot in the arm. Do you remember that Peter's arm was bandaged and in a sling? At Alice's funeral, he wrote a coat over it so that no one would notice, and a hat to hide his red hand. The Nazis were looking for him. Emery didn't remember. She hadn't noticed. The whole day had been a blur of proof.
You
But
say the
what?
whole. You wouldn't have to
Oh,
pronounce the W, the whole day.
the whole day had been a blur of proof. But what about Liz? She asked. If she wasn't shot, what happened? From the military car, they saw her running and Sylvia ran her down. So it was true. What you said, that she was hit by a car. It was true, Papa told her. They were all so young, Mama said, shaking her head. She blinked, closed her eyes for a moment and took a long, deep breath. So very, very young, with so much hope. Now, remembering this, Emily looked from the balcony down into the street. She saw that below, amid the music, singing, and the sound of the church bells, people were dancing. It brought back another memory, the memory of Liz so long ago, wearing the yellow dress, dancing with Peter on the night that they announced their en-
Engagement. It's when they
engagement.
said they were going to get married.
Engagement. She turned and went to her bedroom, where the blue trunk still stood in the corner, as it had all these years. Opening it, Emery saw that the yellow dress had begun to fade. It was discolored at the edge where it had lain so long in fold. Carefully, she spread open the skirt of the dress and found the place where Ellen's necklace lay hidden in a pocket. The little star of David's still twinkled. Papa, she said, returning to the balcony, where her father was standing with the others, watching the rejoicing crowd. She opened her hand and showed him the necklace. Can you fix this? I have kept it all this long time. It was Ellen's. Her father took it from her and examined the broken cups. Yes, he said, I can fix it. When the courses come home, you can give it back to Alan. Until then, Emery told him, I will wear it myself.
Very, very good. Okay, now there's this section called the afterword. And I want you to read that, and that will tell you some things about why the author, Lois Lowry, wrote the book. And I will send you the questions for the last chapter and the afterword, and you can return them to me when you are finished.
Okay.
Okay, and I will see you next Wednesday.
Yes, I will see you next Wednesday.
Okay,
See
and
you.
I'll send you some more questions to answer like the travel ones today, okay?
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Yeah.
bye.
Bye. Bye.